From Universal Studios Hollywood, welcome to Home and Family.
Brighten up your day, the Home and Family way.
Also back with us is HGTV star and the author of The Green Effect, Jeff Wilson is here. Welcome back, Jeff.
Right, thanks. Right. Yesterday we talked about sealing up the house, making it more energy efficient. Today we're going to talk about, from the boring but very important file, indoor air quality and what can affect your health from the air inside your house.
That's a lot of stuff I didn't realize.
There really is. It's a complicated subject, but we're going to distill it for you today.
Perfect. Good, good, good. Jeff Wilson is up next. Jeff, what do you have for us?
Yeah, we're helping to keep your home and family healthier and happier. We're going to talk about indoor air quality coming up next.
We're back. We're with Jeff Wilson. He was here yesterday. If you watched the show, he's the author of The Greenhouse Effect. He's back with more great information. We talked about sealing our house up, keeping the cold out, the draft. You talked about the windbreaker effect.
Right, yeah.
But if we're closing everything off, that creates an airlock that we're living in.
It can, and that's actually, this happened in commercial buildings a while back. They started building very tight commercial buildings to keep the energy efficiency high, but then we got what's called sick building syndrome. People who were in the buildings, because of the concentration of new building smells, the things in the carpet and the paints, people were actually getting sick, mold and mildew, things like that.
So those are the health concerns that we're looking at in our own home, not in an office building.
Right, and even if you're not sealing up your house, there's really not enough fresh air coming in. Even if you have a leaky old house, not enough fresh air to help dispel all of the what we call volatile organic compounds and things like that.
Where does this come from?
Well, I have a really interesting graphic that I think kind of illustrates where all these different things come from. In your home, let's start with if you have an attached garage and you have a car in it. Even if you've opened the door and shut it after the car's been shut off, there's still lingering exhaust fumes.
Sure.
In the kitchen, you're cooking, there's humidity. In the household cleaners will often have chemicals in them. Obviously, things like paints, carpets, upholsteries that are new, that have coatings, those will off-gas volatile organic compounds. Pollen, tracked in chemicals from your lawn, from outdoors, can affect indoor air quality. In the basement, mold and mildew grows, and also an invisible radioactive gas that's natural in the environment, called radon, collects in places like basements, and it can be very dangerous. Now, that's not all over the country, just in certain areas, but
what is
radon is a naturally occurring, invisible, it's odorless, colorless gas that when you dig a basement, it will seep into the basement, even through concrete walls, and collect into dangerous levels. Matter of fact, the EPA calls radon the second biggest cause of lung cancer after cigarette smoking.
How do you detect something like that?
Well, see, actually, there's an easy way now. You can go up to your home store and pick up a relatively cheap radon test, and it's about, that one's $12, and you basically take that test, you open it, a package in your basement, you let it sit for a couple of days, package it up into a sealed envelope, and send it off to a lab, and they'll send you the results. If you have a radon problem, it's a problem that only a professional can really help you with, and you have to have that mitigated.
So, you know, we are all attracted to, we get the new car. We got the new car smell. It smells great. I just bought some furniture recently for my boy's room.
Right.
And we brought it, and it had that new smell to it. And now, after about a month, it's still prevalent there.
Yeah.
I still smell it, and I'm starting to question, wait a minute, that's not like a new furniture. There's something to this.
Right, and it could be the coating. It could be, you know, a lot of furniture is made with this sort of press board like this. Not all of it's bad, but there's a good portion of it that has things like formaldehyde in it that will off-gas into the house. It will actually, the formaldehyde's there to keep the bugs and rot and mildew from attacking it, but then once it's in your home, it off-gases. It actually seeps out of the furniture over time, and you breathe that in. That has a bad effect on your indoor air quality.
So how do we know if we're getting bad stuff, if we're using the wrong paints?
Right. Well, I mean, since it can come from so many places, it really is difficult to know. With paints, you can look for low or no VOC paints. Right?
Okay.
This is a zero VOC, volatile organic compounds. Those are those smells, those new car smells, that you're smelling. So you want to find products that have no or low VOCs. And you can use natural cleaning products. These are all basic things you can do in your home. Lock up things that you need to use that may have VOCs. Lock them up, say, in a garage or someplace.
Oh, you can, the fingernail polish remover. That'll take over a room in a minute.
That's acetone. Right, exactly. Yeah. So you basically want to limit your exposure to things, and then you can move on to actually testing for certain things. Carbon monoxide, which is another one of those colorless, odorless gases. You can get a meter for that. Humidity often affects indoor air quality. Too low.
So?
Yeah, too low, and you're going to have dry nasal passages. You can actually get sicker more often because you've got cracks in your nasal passages. It'll also ruin your furniture and your wooden instruments.
Yeah.
Too high, and mold and mildew will grow. So you've got to keep the humidity
Balance.
right. So you use point source fans in your bathroom and your kitchen. When you're cooking or showering, you turn those on and get rid of the humidity. And then as well as you can, like I said, you can have mold tests done to see if you've got mold growing.
So we lock everything in, Jeff. I get this. How do we vent this if we do bring
so
something in
the
the
best
house?
practice, the best practice is to use mechanical ventilation. After you've limited limited things to your exposure, mechanical ventilation. That means getting the bad air out with an exhaust fan and bringing good air in with a fan that brings air in. The problem is that you're also losing energy to the outside when you do that.
Yeah, my heating or cooling is going right out the window, literally.
So in my house, we use what's called an energy recovery ventilator. And I have a graphic for this, too, that I think illustrates what an energy recovery ventilator does. It constantly sucks out that bad air. Those black particles get sucked out to the outside, while it brings in the good fresh air, right? At the same time, it's actually exchanging the heat. Let's say I'm heating the air. So I've got cold air coming in from the outside, hot air trying to leave from the inside. The air leaves, but the heat is exchanged and brought back into the fresh air, retaining 95% of the energy, the dollars that I've spent to heat that energy in the fresh air as the fresh air comes in.
Back in.
Yeah, so you lose very little of the energy, but you get all of the fresh air.
Where do you find something like that?
Well, you know, the best place, we talked yesterday about furnace tune-ups, right? The same experts that service your furnace will come out and they can do this home health test that will tell you VOCs, radon, all the stuff that's bad for you, how much of it there is, and they can help you mitigate depending on what's wrong in your house.
Wonderful. You know what? It's a lot of stuff.
It is.
As you jokingly said, it's kind of boring, but very important, especially for the health of our children. More tips on how to keep the air in your home clean and fresh. You can visit our website, of course, or you can jump over to Jeff's website, which is greenhouseeffect.com.